So much bias in the hush money trial. The judge is working with Alvin Bragg to bias the case. The whole case is bullshit. Fuck this judge. Fuck this trial. The judge definitely had his judge thumb on the scale, trying to tilt things his way. Defense witnesses, every time the prosecution would say, objection, really never got a chance to say exactly what he wanted, interrupting to prevent the defense from taking place. And by limiting the defense testimony from the federal prosecutor, it's just awful. And now, he's not letting the jury instructions out there. He doesn't want us to know what the jury instructions are, so people like me can comment on it. He wants to keep it secret. Because basically his jury instructions are going to be against the law. He's not going to actually say what the law is. He's going to hide what the law is. And his jury instruction can basically, hey, Donald Trump, hush money, they falsified their business records. His jury instructions are going to basically be biased. Didn't want the campaign finance expert to testify at all. Finance expert would basically say, oh, if you're contributing your own candidacy, such as if Donald Trump wrote a check to Stormy Daniels, to pay out Stormy Daniels to benefit his candidacy, that's not a crime. You can spend as much money as you want on yourself. It's just other people can't make campaign contributions to you. Michael Cohen is the one who went to jail for taxi medallions and other stuff. But he didn't go to jail for campaign finance, but they made it sound like he did. I know he pled guilty to a bunch of stuff that sent him to jail, but at the very end, they tacked on the campaign finance thing with the intent of going after Donald Trump with that later. The thing the judge did to put his thumb on the scale was the gag order. The gag order prevents the prosecution from unfairly putting things in the newspaper and going after a defendant. When you put a gag order on the defendant, that kind of turns due process on its head. It was never intended to be for the defendant. It was a due process. It was a right of people to protect themselves against the government. That's what the Constitution is all about. It protects us from the government. It limits the government, but it doesn't limit us. And the judge put the gag order on the defendant, which is highly unusual. It doesn't really happen that much. The most important thing that he's going to do by eliminating the campaign finance expert so the jury could not hear whatever Trump did was completely illegal. Clearly the case will be won on appeal, but what they do want to say is that this presidential candidate has a felony on his record as he runs against Joe Biden. The underlying crime that makes it a felony is a New York state law. I think, I don't really know because they haven't articulated it yet. There's a New York state law that says it makes it illegal to influence an election. Every election is influenced. I mean, if I were running for office, I would influence my election so I would win too. The law is a kind of a silly law, and that's why they didn't want to actually have testimony or that he's never been accused of breaking that law. And that's the other thing. In the United States, Judge Marchan doesn't know that because he's from freaking Colombia. He doesn't know shit. In the United States, you're innocent until proven guilty. So if you've never been proven guilty of a law that he's supposed to have broken, then these things could have never been charged as felonies. Clearly, it's going to be overturned. Clearly, the judge is biased. And clearly, due process for Donald Trump was violated unconstitutionally by this judge.